Okay, guys. So we are going to develop a 3D sign, something like this, and this is quite big. Usually, 3D printing beds are something like this size, 200 mm, 230 mm, but this is spanning to something like this one, which is around 600 mm, little more than half a meter. Okay, so it's going to be quite big, and I could show you how the sign will look like if I can tilt this. Okay, not tilt this, but this is the sign. You can see there is the blue color sign. It's out there and glowing, the blue color sign right above the India flag. Okay, so this is quite, and the U besides this sign, the blue sign, the hustle sign, you can see it looks pretty nice. Now I'm going to attach this back so you can see me. Okay, so this sign is going to be developed. So I'll just show you. This is the stage one where actually the stage one is where we develop uh, the logo. But let's say you have a logo and you want to recreate this and create a 3D printed glow sign. Okay, so we are going to, so this is stage one where I'm going to guide you how I made this in SolidWorks, how I made various bodies like this in SolidWorks. You can check this, see this, and then so there are these letters, and then you can see how I have split this into a printable size. So my printer is the Anycubic Cobra, which you can see here, and this has a bed size of 200 to 215 mm. So I can print a little less than that. So what I've done is I've split the base, which will contain the LED lights. I've split the base into number of parts, 5 in this case. You can see, you can check this X, how it looks like. Then you can see the middle part. Okay, so based on your logo, you will have to decide in how many parts you can split. You will have to split that. So once we print this base, we can glue this thing together with the super bond. So bond is known by many names. Basically, that is the cyanoacrylate adhesive. So you can just search for cyanoacrylate adhesive, and you can use your whatever is available to you. So not departing from the topic in hand, uh, let me just quickly show you how this looks like. So you can check this. I'm just going to show you the overview, then I'm going to show you how I created this. Okay, so you have this, and if you see this step, there is this small step here, this surface. Now the sign in front, which is the white color U shape, that is going to be resting on this surface. That is not going to go all the way till this surface. It is going to be resting on this surface. Okay, and then we are going to have the LED lights, which are going to be pasted on this surface. Basically, you can paste on this surface also, and you can paste on the side walls also. So on these side walls you can paste your LED light. Now which LED light and what could be the quality and costing and those things, that I'm going to share with you once we reach the fabrication stage. Then actually in between we'll have to print this also. So at this time you can see there is this passage, and this passage is for taking the LED light through all of these letters. So these letters are going to be joined with each other, so you can add these very conveniently with a single LED light. Here you have this screw using which you can mount this sign on the, this is a through hole, you can mount this on the wall using these screws. So I'm going to exit this, and you can see how this is resting, the sign is resting. You can check this surface, it is going up to a certain point, and that's it. Similarly, you have these signs. I can isolate this and show it to you. Okay, so the LED light is going to come from the right side around this passage. From this way, it's going to enter from R to B and from B to A. You can check how the passage takes the LED light through itself. Okay, then we can come here and you can check this out, how this looks. Okay, similarly you have the X and the O. Now this X and O also will have to be glued, so this is purely limited by the size of your 3D printing bed. And don't forget the holes wherein the supply is going to come from. So from here the supply is going to enter. I have provided two holes. No, this is the hole actually. These are the mounting holes. This one is the hole from which the supply is going to come. I provided two holes here. One is here and the second is right here. So based on your preference, we can add the supply to it. Okay, you can provide 1 mm thickness here. So this is pretty thin. You want the light to come out. The light should not block itself that much, and you don't have to provide more LED strips than required. So this, the thickness of this surface has to be thick enough so you don't see the LED strips through. Okay, the surface has to be thick enough so it spreads the light and you get a uniform glow in this latter. So it's governed by that. Usually 0.8 to 1 mm thickness for your wall should be good. And you can have two surfaces added at the top, 2 to 3 surfaces or 2 to 3 layers added. If you are a little familiar with the 3D printing terminology, then the surface will have like around 2 to 3 layers added. Okay, which you can do with your slicing software. So, and again, same thing applies to your this sign. If I, so this is pretty thick, right? The wall itself is pretty thick, but you're going to barely have around 5 mm, around 5% infill in your slicing software. So that is what you're going to add. Just add 5% infill. So this is as light as possible, yet it is strong enough to hold. So when it is mounted to the wall, this should be strong enough that it can, you know, support and it does not break away. And if you can see, I'm going to show you this in the subsequent videos, you know, how the light is going to partially transmit through this backing and will strike the wall. So the whole wall behind will be lit in yellow color. You will see a yellow color glow on the wall itself and white color glow from the front. So let me just suppress this and take you back. Okay, so I started with the with this one extrude, which will have uh, the text itself. So here you can see I have added one curve or one line as a guide, which will guide, about the size of this thing. Plus, for the text command, you will need one line at least. So SolidWorks will add your text over that. So you can add your text and then adjust as you want. Then you can just do the extrude. Here I've done 15 extrusion, which I'm later going to shell or hollow that thing. Then using my text, I have created the offset sketch, and I have created the extrusion. I created the base from it. You can see that at this time the design was different. Ox was right on the side of the urban. But if you see this, then the length, now the sign which will be created using this design will be too much. That is, the length will become too much. This will be around 1 meter, which you do not want. You want it to have the proportions which will look nice. So here I will again go to the sketch and show it to you that how I've offsetted 15 using my original sketch of the text itself. And then I've done some modifications. You can see these blue lines which are a bit modified, so it looks nice. Where modifications are to be done, you can do so it looks nice. So I have added sufficient offset, so the characters basically merge into each other. So the base merges into each other, and you get something like this. Now a cut is made here, I think. So yeah, a sketch like this. So this was removed. Okay, this was removed. Using that rectangle, because this was there. I had initially added, I think. So this wasn't required. This is an unnecessary feature actually. This I had created earlier because I had joined here. I had joined both the logos. Then I had later on deleted that, so I can just move this body below the urban. Okay, then I created a sketch to join both of these signs. Okay, which is easier compared to the rest of the things. Okay, once we have done that, it looks like I have made the cut. It looks like I have made the cut to create this step. Just 1 second. Okay, why is this done? Okay, and there is this, these things are added. Let's hide this. Okay, yeah, so that is why this is done. You'll have to see that the space for the letters is not created yet. So the space is to be created. So I created a sketch. Okay, you can see the in between signs are not there for B. These things are not there. Only the overall boundary is there, just to create the cut to add these letters into the base. you can see that once I've done that, I have made the necessary cut which will house these letters. I'm just going to show the important parts. Now you can see, using the same offset command, I have created a sketch. Okay, well, you'll have to offset that is using the same sketch, that is the letters, which makes the letters. You just use the offset command to offset this by 0.25. That is you will make this cut. You can make this cut so it can house the letters. Okay, so you should not go all the way inside, the letters should not go all the way inside. To do that, you are creating a step. That step is created using the sketch and the cut feature here. So the letter will basically stop. Okay, the letter will basically stop. This step is created, so letter will rest here. So once you have done that, you will create the shell. There is also something you have to remember. The cut which was made earlier to house the letter, it's not exactly done using the same letter. You can see there is a small gap here. This is the cut and this is the letter. There is a 0.25 mm gap, which is basically the 3D printing allowance. If you want the mating parts to be created, one part has to get inside the other, you will have to have a small clearance. Okay, so the part can get inside. This much clearance is required, basically 0.2 to 0.25. You'll have to check your 3D printer. If you have a very good 3D printer, then less clearance is required. But obviously, if you understand the FDM, the fuse deposition method, if you're going to lay the layer there, that is, then some part will basically travel on both sides. Okay, if you lay like a 0.4 mm thickness filament, then that will travel to both sides, so you will need a clearance. You'll need to create manually that gap, which basically shouldn't be there. If you talk about the conventional methods of manufacturing, you will not need this gap, but for 3D printing you do. So remember to add that clearance. This is done, then we are basically shelling each and every letter. If you understand this command in SolidWorks, then you will you can supply two surfaces, that is, you can select two surfaces which will be removed while hollowing that letter. So if the surface is removed, you will be able to see it like this. If I isolate this, then you can check that this surface is not there. The light will travel and pass through only this surface. Okay, so this is hollowed out. That's how the shell command works. You can select the surface which will be removed while hollowing. After that, I have drawn some sketches. There are plenty of sketches you can check. You can see these sketches are created to cut using the split command. After that, I have created some holes. Okay, if you want this to look nice, you will have to mount this away from the wall. there has to be some space between the wall and this sign, so which can be done by similarly printing the spacers also. You can have a 1 inch spacer and then have long screws, which using which you will screw uh, this sign into the wall, which later on I will show in this project how you can add. Now after this, plenty of splitting commands are given. Okay, plenty of splitting commands are given, using which individual bodies are created. After this, all you have to do is select one body and then insert into new part, hit enter, and then save this as an STL file. Save this as an STL file. Okay, you can check that I have created all the files beforehand. Save the STL file. Okay, hit save. It's going to ask for confirmation, but since I don't have to save it, I'll just press no. So if you have any doubts, you can ask me later on. You can just comment, and I'm going to develop further videos as these things are printed. So one part of it is already printed, but once all of this is printed, I'll show how this will be, how this came out after 3D printing. Then I'll glue these things together and add the strips inside, and then I'll show you how you can mount this sign on the surface. So I'll see you later.